Yet, before the end of 2 times 1,000 years, the new prophet will reveal my unfalsified teachings to small groups, just as I teach the wisdom, the knowledge and the laws of the Spirit and of creation to small groups of trusted friends and disciples. Nevertheless, his path will be very difficult and full of obstacles, because he will begin his mission in a peace-loving country in the north which will be dominated, however, by a strict and false religious cult based upon scriptural distortions of my teachings. Thus I prophesy, and thus it shall be. And he did not there show great signs of his power, nor did he impart his great wisdom because of their disdain for the truth. Chapter 16. Herod and the Baptist. At the time when Jmmanuel was staying in Nazareth, news about him reached Herod. And he spoke to his people, "Surely this is John the Baptist, who has arisen from the dead and who therefore possesses such mighty powers." For Herod had seized John, bound him and put him into prison because of Herodias, the wife of his brother Philippus, and had him beheaded. However, it had come to pass previously that John reprimanded Herod, saying, "It is not good that you have taken Herodias, because you have committed adultery with your brother's wife, and therefore you must be punished according to the law." For this he wanted to kill the Baptist, but was afraid of the people, because they considered this man to be a prophet. However, as Herod was celebrating his birthday, the daughter of Herodias danced before them, and Herod was greatly pleased. He therefore promised her, with an unlawful oath, that he would give her whatever she would demand of him. And as she had been induced accordingly by her mother, she said, "Give me the head of John the Baptist on the silver platter." But the daughter of Herodias wept while saying this, not just because she was inspired with love for John the Baptist, but also because she was devoted to his teachings. The king was pleased that Herodias had persuaded her daughter to demand the head of John the Baptist, because this way he was not guilty in the eyes of the people, inasmuch as he had taken an oath. But Herodias' daughter did not know that Herod and her mother had agreed, even before the dance, to demand the head of John the Baptist through her. Thus Herod sent someone and had John beheaded in prison. His head was carried in on a silver platter and given to the girl. She kissed the brow of the decapitated head, wept bitterly and said, "I did not know that love tastes so bitter." Then she brought the head of the Baptist to her mother. His disciples then came, took the body and buried it. Then they went to Jmmanuel and told him of the event. When Jmmanuel heard this, he was overcome with fear and retreated by boat to a deserted area. However, when the people heard that, they followed him on foot from the towns. Jmmanuel saw the large crowd from the water, and feeling sorry for them, he went ashore and healed their sick. The feeding of the 5,000. In the evening his disciples came to him and said, "This area is deserted and night is falling over the land. Tell the people to go away so that they can buy food and drink in the villages." But Jmmanuel said, "It is not necessary that they go away. Give them food and drink." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 leaves of bread and 3 fish." And he said, "Bring them to me." And telling the people to stay put, he took the 5 leaves of bread and the 3 fish, spoke secret words, broke the leaves of bread, cut up the fish and gave them to his disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were filled, and they saved what was left over, 12 baskets full of pieces. And there were about 5,000 who had eaten. Walking on Tc. Soon afterward Jmmanuel directed his disciples to enter the boat and to cross over to the city in advance of him while he would dismiss the people. After he had sent the people away, he climbed up a small mountain alone in order to rest and regain his depleted strength. And so he was there alone in the evening. The disciples' boat was at that time in the middle of the sea and being imperiled by the waves, for the wind was against them and the storm was over them. However, on the 4th watch during the night, Jmmanuel approached them, walking on the water of the sea. When his disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified and said, "He is a ghost." And they screamed in fear. But soon Jmmanuel came closer, spoke to them and said, "Be comforted, it is I. Do not be afraid." "Master, is it you?" Peter asked. "Truly, it is I," said Jmmanuel. But Peter answered him and said, "Master, if it is you, then let me come to you on the water." And Jmmanuel said, "Come here to me and don't be afraid. Understand and know that the water is carrying you, and it will carry you. Do not doubt your knowledge and ability, and the water will be a firm foundation." And Peter stepped out of the boat, walked on the water and approached Jmmanuel. But when strong thunder ripped through the howling storm, he was startled and began to sink, screaming, "Jmmanuel, help me!" Jmmanuel quickly went to him, stretched out his hand and grabbed him, saying, "O you of little knowledge, why are you frightened, and why do you become doubtful in your fright? The power of your knowledge gives you the ability, as you have just witnessed. You trusted in my words before the thunder came, but then you were frightened and began to doubt, and so the power of knowledge left you and your ability disappeared. Never doubt the power of your spirit, which is a part of creation itself and therefore knows no limits of power." Behold, there was a little bird that circled at great heights and sang, rejoicing about life, when a strong gust of wind came and made it waver. It then suddenly doubted its power to fly, plummeted down and was killed. Therefore, never doubt the power of your spirit and never doubt your knowledge and ability when logic proves to you the law of creation in truth and correctness. They stepped into the boat, and Jmmanuel commanded the storm to stop. It abated and the wind ceased. Those who were in the boat marveled and said, "You are indeed a master of the spirit and someone who knows the laws of creation. No one like you has ever been born among us, nor has any prophet known to us had such power." But Jmmanuel answered, "I'll tell you, there are greater masters of spiritual power than I, and they are our distant forefathers of Petal. Petal, highest level of spiritual development that a pure spirit form can attain before it ultimately melds with creation and becomes one with it. And great are they also, who came from the depths of space, and the greatest among them is God, and he is the spiritual ruler of 3 human lineages. However, above him stands creation, whose laws he faithfully follows and respects. Therefore he is not omnipotent, as only creation itself can be. Thus there are also limits set for him who allows himself to be called God, and who is above emperors and kings, as the word says. But humans are ignorant and immature. Thus they believe God to be creation and serve an erroneous doctrine, as was falsified by the distorters of the scriptures. Thus, since people believe in God, they do not know about the reality of creation, but God is human as we are. But the difference is that in his consciousness and knowledge, and in wisdom, logic and love, he is 1,000 times greater than you and greater than all people of earth. But he is not creation, which is infinite and without form.